Well, here we are, Audi TT Mark II in the rain, possibly the dirtiest Audi TT in the world. All the sheds and garages and barns that I have, I don't have one with any free space today. They've all got something in bits in the way, so I'm having to work in the rain. Blow motor. This one's a right-hand drive, of course, left-hand drive it's at the other side. So here we are, this is the blow motor. The glove box has been removed, but before you get this far, for diagnostic purposes, you can take that flap off the end of the dashboard. It's just held on with a screwdriver slot. You can put your hand through there and there is a flap. The flap can be opened by pressing the recirculate button. When you press the recirculate button, you can move your hand in and you can actually feel, you can hear the fans moving because I'm touching it with my fingers. If you were to turn the fan off, you could feel whether you could move it by hand or not. You could discover whether it's seized up. Anyway, I didn't do that because I didn't know about that flap. So first of all, we have to drop the glove box out of the way, which is easier than you might think. It's fastened in from inside with 4 8mm headed screws, 3 along the top and 1 in the back, and 2 8mm headed screws underneath in the footwell. So there are 6 to undo altogether. And then there is an electrical socket there which feeds the whole lot, all the internal lights and what have you, the switch for the airbag. This little electrical socket slides onto that rail there, but first you have to move that latch out of the way. And then on the plug part you have to squeeze a trigger at both sides to release the thing. Not too difficult. Then we get the glove box out of the way. Now here's something not to do. I left the little screws in the glove box for safekeeping so I didn't lose them. One of them has got trapped in the hinge mechanism, so now I can't open the blasted thing. Goodness knows what I'm going to do. So don't do that. Close the glove box when it's empty and leave it empty. Now to get the blower motor out, it couldn't be easier really. Astonishingly easy. There is a little black plastic trigger there which you press downwards, then you push it away from you and the blower motor just unscrews itself from its socket, from its housing. There is something I hadn't noticed. There is a little tab at the bottom of it which holds this piece of trim on, footwell trim. You just have to remove that. So, lift the blower motor out, undo the electrical socket which has no fancy latches on, it's just kind of a tight fit in there. Can't go back in the wrong way around, so that doesn't matter. And this one is seized solid. So that piece of leaf has been annoying us for ages when it's been blowing and rattling around. Well, it was quite easy to get it moving again, but it's not running free, so I'm going to run it for a little bit with an electric drill fastened on there, I think, and feed a bit of oil into the bearing. Well, I'm in the house now, as you can see. I've probably got more oil cans than Halfords, but I can never find one. And what I want to do is put a little drop of oil just in there onto the top of the bearing. It's very probably a sintered oilite type bearing, a bush. So I've got some of this express gun oil. I'm just going to put a drop of that there. And then leave it for 10 minutes and hope it soaks in a bit, and then spin it with the electric drill. Well, I didn't think I was going to be able to access the bottom bearing easily, but actually the whole motor is held in with these 3 rubber mounts, which you can just pull the motor out of the casing, pull the wire forward, get even more movement if I take that plug out of the, whatever it happens to be, the electric control. And in fact, by undoing this odd shaped grommet, you can take the whole casing off the motor. Just like that. And it appears that the bottom bearing might be the problem. It's actually a lot grubbier and rustier than the top bearing. So, and you can access the brushes. You could replace the brushes if you wanted to, if you needed to. But I'm going to put a drop of oil in there. These replacement motors are 180 quid, I think. So this will be quite some saving. Anyway, we'll let that soak in and give it a spin. Oh yeah, it's getting freer already. So it's the bottom bearing is the problem. It actually sits down there where any moisture that gets in is going to gather down there. So it's not a happy environment for it. And if you weren't confident about taking the motor out of the casing, you could make a hole in there, put some oil in, and stick a piece of sticky tape over afterwards. But I'm getting ahead of myself now. So I'll just spin it with the drill. Could of course plug it back into the car and spin it with its with the car's battery power, but anyway. So we'll get a little bit more oil on there. We don't want too much on there because we don't want it getting onto the brushes or the commutator. And then I'm going to put it back in the car and live happily ever after. Well, it's taking a little bit of persuasion to get these rubber mounting hooks back into position. I'm just pulling them into place with these O-ring picks. Easy enough. Getting the third one back into place is a little bit more difficult. I had to move this gizmo, don't actually know what it is, sensor of some kind, to access that rubber claw. It was held on with 3 hex-headed screws, 6mm heads. So there we are. It's running fairly freely now. The resistance is probably the brushes, but I'm happy with that, and it can go back on the car. So there we are. It's back in place. I can tell you it was easier to put that plug in before I put the blow motor back on. So I just turned the ignition on. I don't know whether you can hear it, but that motor's working beautifully now. So I was pretty pleased with that. The passenger airbag light is flashing because that plug is undone from the glove box. But there we are. I hope this video has helped you. I'm just going to finish putting the car back together so that Rosie can go to work tomorrow.